With an exciting new frontier, like a brand new iteration of the internet, comes a whole load of opportunities. But equally, when the shift to Web3 happens, you might be asking yourself, is my job going to become obsolete? Well, the short answer is that nobody knows what will or won't survive this massive shift, but what we do know is that if you start planning for it, you'll make the smart moves that will help you survive whatever comes your way because of it. So in this video, I'm going to take you through 3 things that can really help you future-proof your career in the Web3 space. So let's start with what you can do in your current job. Now, to understand the importance of Web3 and how it can affect things in your career, we actually have to turn back time. Now, you might remember these guys. Yep, once upon a time, Blockbuster was the titan of the home movie world until they weren't. And these guys took over. Now, why did Netflix boot Blockbuster off its podium and reign supreme? Because they understood early that video watching customers' habits changed, and instead of going to video stores to watch their favorite movies, they wanted the convenience of watching everything they loved at home from the touch of a button. So Netflix moved fast, developed that service, and here we are today. So where workplaces are right now is at the cusp of another massive shift in consumer behavior, and they have to adapt early in order to stay on top. But the thing is that they probably don't even realize that yet. And that's where you come in. By growing your knowledge of Web3 and how that is going to affect your industry, you can start building the strategies for your workplace on their time and not yours, by volunteering to do all the research and write reports that will inevitably help your business. They'll be really grateful for you taking the initiative, and you'll very quickly be seen as someone who is leading the charge. And remember, no matter what industry you're in, every single business is going to be implementing some form of Web3 protocol. So get thinking about how this shift is going to need to be actioned in your workplace. Here's a quick example. If your company makes products in real life, think about how these can be replicated digitally. Products that have both a physical and a digital existence are known as phygital. And this may be the path to you proving to your peers that you can generate even more revenue by replicating certain popular products in both spaces. And what you'll be doing there is adding incentives for existing customers to come back to you in a different way, but also for giving new customers the opportunity to discover you for the first time. So as I said, this can not only generate lots of loyalty, but also extra revenue. And guess what? Which boss is not going to love an opportunity to generate more revenue? I'd love to find out. Okay, so if you're thinking, well, that's all well and good for my job, but what about me personally? Then Web3 lends itself to the ultimate side hustle too. If we look back to the early days of social media, we know that those who jumped on YouTube or Instagram or other social media platforms early benefited from that massively. So if you've ever had a business idea and said to yourself, I wish I'd taken YouTube or Instagram more seriously, then Web3 is your opportunity to be in this game super early. Then understanding the Web3 space and experimenting with it by launching an NFT project or seeing how your services can work in the metaverse will mean that you're doing what the early YouTubers did, for instance. And when everyone else starts experimenting with Web3, you'll be light years ahead instead of playing catch up. Plus, the great thing about this is that you can do so much in Web3 without breaking the bank. Why? Well, if you are going to launch an NFT project or start some services in the metaverse, you need to do things like starting your marketing in reverse, which means you should build your audience before actually launching a product. Why? Because A, that's more cost effective for you, and B, this space is all about community. And with that in mind, you need to build a community to know when you drop your product or service, people will buy it. So get to know your audience through social media, through developing relationships, and ultimately road testing your market research before your drop. This should be an expense on your time more than anything else. So when you know you've got your dedicated followers and community, that's the time for you to start investing in the build of your product. And of course, if you are feeling brave, then you can just go all in. We're in an age where entrepreneurs are thriving, and that isn't going to stop in Web3. The digital world is your oyster, and if you are ready, then go get it. We already know from Web2 that when people really commit, magical things can happen, and there's no reason why this is going to be any different in Web3. The builders of today could be those unicorn companies of tomorrow, and we only need to look at the Web3 native companies to see how they're building to become the next Nike or Apple. So if you're looking for a change, then remember a few key things. Things will need to be built in the metaverse. Shops, houses, clothes, and so much more. So ask yourself, am I one of those people who can build these things? If so, get building. And finally, think outside the box. We're seeing things like AR, AI, and VR really taking hold at the moment and becoming those big buzzwords. They're the clear next steps for mass adoption, so is there a gap in the market for you to build a service using that technology? We're already seeing really clever uses from ChatGPT all the way through to sex tech. Yep, I kid you not. It's time to get tech heavy and unleash that for your customers' inner desires. So there's lots to think about, but remember a few things are key. Community, community, community. And if you're needing to learn all about how to build a really strong community, particularly in the NFT space, then definitely check out this video because it is here to give you all of the guidance from someone who has been in the space, done it from the super duper early days. So I hope that's helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.